Yo, 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 what's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads, and especially all you gardeners out there. This is Mr. Weedman, Big Earl, with the Grow Hour. Big Earl, my brother, how the hell are you?
What's up? I'm good, dude. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
You know want to know why?
What?
Because I'm super stoked, because we're going to be talking about what it's like being an underground grower, which a lot of us are.
Yeah.
To this day.
It's what's keeping the industry alive, man. Keeping all that.
Yep. So before we get started, let's smoke some weed. I need to get high.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm smoking on your strain, some super boof,
Yeah.
or as I like to call it, super boofy, which you just pulled. So tell us about it.
Yeah, Super Boost's a nice plant. It's but I've had two different cuts of it. This cut I have now is shorter and much stronger than the first cut I have, so who knows why. But it's real nice, real distinct terpene on it. Like when you smoke it, you know you're smoking super boof kind of thing.
The smell is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
When you open up the bag, you get that nice whiff of fruitiness.
Yeah, that cross room terp.
Yeah, and then when you grind it, it's just like smack dab right in the kisser.
Yeah.
Whack. You get hit with that fucking pungence of fruitiness and dankness and just it's such a good fucking smoke too. It's so clean.
Thank you. Yeah. Super Boost's a goofy one. I know a lot of people that'll be like, oh yeah, whatever, as long as it's not super boof. And then a lot of people who really like it. So I'm not sure where that lies with people or why.
The hype. I think the hype of it too, when it came out, people were like, super boof, and then you start seeing it everywhere. So it wasn't as popular, but the people that grow it, I think at home, I think it's a lot better than I've tried out in the market. So like, I don't get that kind of smell in market weed versus home grow or traditional market or caregiver grow. The smell of this is just insane.
Yeah, because we'll talk about it today because they push all their shit just for money.
Mm-hmm. What are you smoking on?
The Nightmare OG, which we were just talking about.
Oh,
the Nightmare OG has been a staple, and like so many strains, everybody's always talked over the years. You get these strains and they kind of like lose popularity, especially back before tissue culture was a thing. I don't know. I need to take this one through tissue culture again. I think it kind of lost some of its. I'd probably fuck something up, but it kind of lost some of its funk this round.
I've had some of your Nightmare OG. I think I've had it 3 different grows, and it was always good. I haven't tried the new one yet, but like I said, the 3 grows I've gotten from you in the past, fucking just so dark too. The buds, like just beautiful, and just crystally perfection every time I've smoked it. So
yeah, it's definitely a favorite of people's. That's why I've had it for like 7 years.
Yeah, it's good shit. Today we're talking about underground grower. So what is an underground grower or a traditional market grower? And they are not just so why they're important, very important.
Yeah, they are. They're everything. The reason weed's legal today is because of those people. The reason that it advanced from, when people, it's not the weed that it used to be, is because of those people. They're the ones that risked their freedom for the plant. They had the passion, they had the love, and literally everything in it, in cannabis, we owe to them. The big, MSOs and people jumping in just because they got money and, the weed game is there and they think they can get rich off of it. Those people they're in it for the dollar. When we talk about the traditional grower, it's a grower of love, that's why it's still here. Without those guys,
passion,
we wouldn't even know what cannabis was. They're the reason for all of it.
Yep, absolutely.
That's
yeah. I mean, I've known so many traditional market growers in my past, and from the 90s when, I knew grow houses and just watching guys do their craft has been insane. Watching the genetics that they bred themselves, getting seeds from overseas, and then having to just try to do it themselves. And the South, the dirty South, where I lived for a while, back then, and watching and meeting people that had grow houses and how they did it and how they ran it, and then learning how to do it myself and watching, guys get popped too. I knew a couple of guys, 2, 3, 4 maybe guys that got popped having grows in homes. But as soon as they got out and their probation was done, they were right back at it.
Yeah. I mean,
I knew guys that were on probation and said, "Fuck it, this is all I know." You know?
yeah. Yeah, it's just such a ridiculous thing, to be punished for, and yeah, it was illegal and still is illegal, quote unquote, in a lot of areas, or the plant count is ridiculous, so you can't do much with it or whatever it is. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's nice that it's been a little bit more lax. But there's definitely still the underground is still pushing the entire industry. The
It'll never go away.
No, it won't. It won't ever.
Never,
No,
never. Nope.
it's pushing the entire industry. The big hype strains you hear of come from a lot of those types of people. There are some bigger ones too. But I'll be honest, any of those big hype strain cuts that I've ever gotten weren't worth much. The best cuts
Mm,
I get are from the homies that are like, "Oh, I hunted out these packs and this is what I found. I did, like." But, you know, the brand and everything pushes a lot of those big markets, and they're the ones that pay the big money.
yeah, yeah. So during the time of this, what are some of the hardest obstacles in growing cannabis where it is legally questionable?
Legally questionable, exactly.
Question mark. I think that's how it's done. Question mark with a
Allegedly,
dot.
allegedly. So, number 1 for sure, like we all know and we've talked about is the smell. When you're growing the fucking fire, it's gonna smell. If you don't control your air and everything, like, it's gonna smell. Getting rid of
Right.
waste and trash traditionally, like, now if you're lucky enough to be in a state where it's not that big of a deal, you can throw a lot of that just in the trash. But, like, that's especially if you have a couple trays going and you don't, like, recycle your soil or pots, like, that can be a thing. Neighbors, God, we all my neighbors are pretty cool here, honestly, at my house, but I've had gardens that, like, neighbors were not cool, and it was a pain in the butt and constantly nerve-wracking. Ugh.
Right.
And even more than neighbors, any visitor, especially back in the day or somewhere where it's, like, way illegal now. Visitors are scary, that one, sister's boyfriend or what do you that's all it takes is the one. And
Yeah. Or it could be a cop that you didn't know your sister was dating
or just,
or your
like,
brother was dating,
there's
you
a lot
know?
of fucking scummy people out there, and you don't a lot of people that you especially, dealing with some of that back in the day, you don't
Right.
know who knows what or who picks up on what. It just takes them seeing one CalMag
Or
gun.
said so or s yeah, or says something by mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they're cool with it, but they were talking to somebody going, "Oh, my homie, man, is fucking got some his house reeked with weed," and all
Sure.
of a sudden, like, "Oh, where'd that homie live at, by the way?"
It is. People be trifling. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's visitors, dude. Yeah, I think most people, especially back in the day, just didn't have them. But bills too. I haven't heard of it happen a ton lately. But people used to get busted by having high bills. That was the word at least.
Oh,
You get a high bill. Why do you got that high bill? You know.
mhm, we got a section down, we're gonna talk about bills, I'll tell a little story, how we had it got away from some of that, but yeah, so go ahead.
And then finding patients and customers, of course, if it's not nowhere, even like with caregivers and stuff, like you have to find your patients and the people that are going to support this. The bills are super expensive. If you're growing like some little for 10, 15 different people total or pound a month kind of thing, like nothing too crazy, like that can get really expensive. A tent,
Yeah,
if you're in like a smaller tent and you're only running a couple 100 watts and everything, like it's not, but it's still gonna be, 100 or $2. That's not nothing. You're talking about thousands of dollars at the end of the year. So and
right.
some of those are thousands a month. And that
Yep.
shit, not only paying them, but like getting started and everything like that is hard. But yeah, the patients, the customers, finding them um, can be hard, especially if you want to do it like safely. Um, Going on vacations, fuck going on you
Mhm.
don't get vacations really unless you're in between grows. And so the only way to do that is if you grow from seed, you grow it all the way through, and then you take a break, and then you grow from seed, you grow it all the way through, and you take a break. there's any strain you're
Right.
trying to save, if there's any kind of like normalcy you're trying to put to it, like say goodbye to vacations
Yeah, if it
longer than 4 days.
oof.
But and the stigma.
Yeah, especially if you don't trust somebody, like, you don't have like, somebody to be able to watch it or trust to watch it while you're gone or something like that, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure. And even with that, it's like you can only do so much. So it's like, okay, you
Right.
trust somebody. Well, how much do you trust them? Do you trust them to weigh out 6 or 7 different kinds of nutrients and dissolve them properly and put them into water and pH your water? You know what I mean? It's like, like you know. But or to like see a problem, to notice that like a pot's dry because the steak got clogged, or like some of that stuff can just like kill everything. Um, but the stigma too, especially back in the day, I think that probably went away a little bit at least. But back in the day, the stigma was rough. Like if you smelled like weed,
Yep.
you were, if you were a pothead, you were a fucking lazy stoner, you were a, there was no productive pothead back in the day. Not that society saw. There were, but
Yeah.
society didn't see it that way, you know?
Of course not. Stigma, stomp it now, but yeah, we know all about the stigma.
Fuck yeah.
So let's start to dive into some of this. We've mentioned some of these before, but let's go over it again.
Yeah.
You know, time and time again, what can a grower do for the smell?
Well, the carbon filter is number 1 probably in the industry. Inline, for sure when there people were running like the inline lights, like the bulbs and stuff, the air cooled. Um, Carbon filters are just a great you can get a lot of air through them, you can clean a lot of air. The thing that sucks about carbon filters, they're expensive. First off, high humidity will completely destroy them. It's like a powdered carbon. It blocks that carbon up, and then the air doesn't go through the powdered carbon. Um,
Mm,
so, like, if you're running, a lot of grows can get humid, so you almost always gonna have to have a dehu with that bad boy. Um,
okay.
but yeah, carbon filter is what I would say number 1, especially if you have a tent. But even just scrubbing the air can be huge. Just open fan on top, maybe a little L on it to shoot out the side. I'm a big fan of inline fans, not drum. So there's 2 different kinds. There's drum, and then I can't remember what the other one's called, but it's like the drum kinda, like, shoots out the sides, and the other one shoots a straight line, and the one that shoots a straight line, I think, can do awesome stuff, especially if you're in smaller areas and you can, like, shoot it at a wall or something. You can move so much air and not, like, really blast plants. But anyway, air filter, airflow in general, like, controlling airflow in general can be big. If you have Sorry, I had to get a puff on that. If you have a, if you have a tent, especially, and you literally you get a negative pressure, right? So say you hang a carbon filter up in your tent, you get your and you that's pulling out. That's a negative pressure right there. Um, no other air can escape your tent except for through the carbon filter. So right there, if you have a tent, you can pretty much control your smell 100% just by adding a carbon filter fan, inline fan going out, and negative pressure. Air can't go anywhere else. You're controlling that airflow. It can't go anywhere else. When you open it up, you'll get your smell out there. As long as you're not working down there, it's not going to smell. But even if you like tighten up rooms, tape, corners, do stuff like that, it all helps a ton. Just to know where your air is flowing, how it's flowing. It helps with plants too, even like not with smell. Knowing like why you're using this fan here. Oh, I was, you found out your hot pocket or whatever it is, Um, but stuff to cover up the scent, like that everybody know, like incense and candles and stuff can definitely work also.
Huh,
You can throw a few incense up. It does something, Uh,
right.
it's, if somebody pops over last second, it's like, "Oh, shit," throw it in. Have some incense ready. Um, we talked about
And put it in front of a fan so it just blows all over the place. So
Oh, 100%. I got to You know what I really like for incense, that I don't see people use a lot? When a candle gets old and has, like, an inch on the bottom, like a bigger candle, like a 3-wick or 4-wick, I'll go and I'll start putting my incense down into that wax so they stick straight up, and the ash falls down
yeah.
into the candle. And so it's just
Oh, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, and then it gets it'll get real full over, like, a year or 2, and I'll just do another one. Works super well with incense sticks. But ozone too. We've talked about ozone. Uh,
Yeah, we have.
they make UV lights um, that basically just add an extra oxygen molecule to the air or something. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've gone over all that, but it does a super good job at cleaning the air. You don't wanna be around it or in the ring when it's running, um, but I like to have it, like, periodically run when I'm not in a room, or in an area because it does a really good job, especially, like, an open light. A lot of those have, like, a fan and they're in a little thing and it, like, pushes air through it. The open light can do a ton. You do
Okay.
not wanna be around it, and you do not want plants by it. So you want it, like,
Gotcha.
outside your tent, outside your room.
Okay.
Excuse me. But yeah, ozone works great. Cleaning too. I mean, just cleaning works so freaking well. Even with like an orange scent or something, like it works. It covers that up. Somebody's coming over this afternoon, clean everywhere around it, clean the tent all this morning. It's gonna smell like oranges for a while, you know? Or like bleach. Like bleach definitely has that smell too, and it just smells clean. It smells like you know.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a big fan of that. Pouring bleach down some drains, spraying, like, I'll clean with bleach anyway, so if I got a tray to clean or something, make sure I clean a tray or something, you can definitely
Right.
you can de it just smells clean, you know, at least for a little.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
so just
Like
make
you said, parents coming over, gotta hide that smell.
yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're may hopefully not, but yeah, I think a lot of people still do, and that sucks, and, you know, little ways to do it here and there, and really, it's a lot of those put together that can like almost knock it out. You know where your air is going, you know where when it's gonna be smelly or when it's not gonna be, you know, like it does a pretty good job.
Yeah. Yeah. What, how can we, or did you, or we, how did you, like, sneak that fucking waste out? Like, how'd you get rid of that shit, so it didn't become a problem?
Well, the easiest thing is if you got a yard and because it's like all media, if you got a yard and you do any kind of gardening at all, you can pretty much recycle.
Right.
If you're in an apartment though, that might be, you know, you're in an apartment, you got a little, you know, that might be you don't a lot of stuff you don't want to just like throw out. If you have a dumpster to throw it to, it might not be that big of a deal. Um, but I'm a big fan of reusing. Uh, I was thinking about getting a chipper this year. You know, they have chippers for pretty cheap online, like couple hundred, yeah,
Really?
like couple $100, and like you can just throw stuff. It just chips it. Like you can only take sticks, so yeah, you know, you can't throw like logs in there. But anything you ever
Yeah.
need on the property, you can just throw through that bad boy. But just a compost,
I'm probably gonna need one of those with this fucking
yeah,
trees on this property.
dude. You should look into it. Just mulches it, and then you can throw it around your trees or whatever, you know, your landscape, all that shit. It,
Right.
yeah, it makes like a good surprised more big gardens don't do that.
I'm getting a burn pit, so that's gonna be the fucking I can't wait to have that thing.
Dude, that's the stems are great for that too. If you have any kind of fire on anything, they burn super fast and super hot. So, like, as a kindling, they'll go. They're pretty nice, and if you grow real fat if you grow f you don't want a hollow stem, but a lot of how people grow with the big newts and the big lights, they'll get, like, hollow stems every now and again. Those will, like those bad boys are go faster than
Light your
lightning.
eyebrow light your eyebrows up and shit.
Yeah, exactly. But besides that, you know, thick ass black bags, use the night, you know, you find, you know, friendly
I
dumpsters.
suggest I suggest you wear all black,
Yeah,
cover your face,
be
mask, and ski mask
as
it up.
sketch as possible. But as you know, just make sure your neighbor's like, "What the hell?" Um, and
What the fuck is Mr. Weedman doing now? Why is he fucking in a ski mask all black, sneaking around like fucking Jim Belushi in Animal House when they were going to the sorority girl's fucking house? He was like, "Dude." No, they're going to the horse. Put the horse in the principal's fucking thing, and he's sneaking around. Fucking that's me. That's me right there.
got like sack on your back. One thing that can help a ton is letting your pots dry out. If you do have to take them out, like the last time you when you're going through your flush, water like whatever. If you're running cocoa like the day before, you don't want to like kill them with drought, but let those pots dry out and then cut as close to that soil as you can. And then you can throw a ton of those in a bag. You let the stem stick out of the
Mm,
soil, you're gonna poke holes. Um, if they're too wet, you're gonna be okay. If you're running, even if you run just 12 plants, like in Michigan, 12 wet 3 to 5 gallon pots are like that's a few bags. Dry,
yep.
you can probably get them in one. So letting them dry out, just being aware that this is about to get thrown out somewhere. You know,
Right.
a lot of times, if you you
That's
know
great.
if they're dried out like that too, and it's just the pots, just even if you got to go out and like your own trash, like they don't stink or anything. It's like
Yep.
the stems will stink for me at least, and then like the leaves and stuff, but the pots usually don't.
That's good right there to know, you know?
Uh,
So, how do you sneak away so the neighbors don't find you?
yeah, that all black thing. That's right. that I, dude, I just I go at night. That's what I would do. Don't you don't want to be throwing a big black bag in the back of your car in the middle of the day. You know, that's what I would do. Figure it out. I think everybody will be a little different. If you're, right next to a 3 a.m. bar or something, you might not want to be going. Like I don't know. Everywhere will be a little different, but just figure out what's got the least amount of traffic. Throw it into a big black bag. If you're doing the dried out pots, you won't probably only need one. Um, but yeah, the neighbors are sneaky sometimes. Bad
Depends.
neighbors can like
Uh,
completely destroy. Like you just won't. It'll destroy it all.
Not even bad neighbors, nosy neighbors will
Yeah,
fuck everything all up. A good nosy neighbor will fuck shit up unless they smoke weed and they're like, "Listen, keep your fucking mouth shut, and I'll fucking throw you a little bit if you keep your fucking mouth shut."
yeah, yeah,
You know? So,
yeah,
kinda thing. Then you don't have a nosy neighbor anymore, you have someone to burn with when you're lonely.
yeah, yeah, for sure. No, that's always ideal for sure. Taking black bags with you too when you go to the grab your equipment. A lot of people I don't think order from too many shops anymore, but when I worked in a shop, people brought black bags in pretty often, and they'd put like their soil in it and stuff like that because they didn't want to, whatever reason they didn't want anybody seeing that they were bringing in cocoa or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
So
Uh, like, what about, like, friends and visitors and that come over? We said, like, friends, family, work, maybe a mother-in-law that don't like weed.
yeah,
"Oh, look, it stinks in here."
yeah, the visitors. I'm a fan of the incense. Personally, I know a lot of people don't like it. I would say then just clean before they come over. That'd be my biggest, especially like some bleach or something. Clean the whole area. Make sure you don't have any like leaves or anything sitting out. If you are, bag it up. Get it somewhere it ain't gonna stink. Um, you know, that's a pain in the ass. I think for me it was just like people who didn't know or weren't okay whenever it was questionable when was doing it. I just didn't really have over. Um, it's kind of shitty too in itself. You don't, you
You you can't come over. Fuck you, you can come over, fuck you.
yeah, like people just don't come over my house. Sorry, you know. That's I don't know. That's I think all that's a little different too. But incense can do such a good job, especially if you're like just getting there. Because even when they die off, like if you're just used to it a little bit. But if you keep it clean, you keep your air going, you get that negative pressure, you know where, when this is happening, that is happening, you shouldn't have a problem.
Gotcha. Bills, 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 gotta pay those telephone bills, gotta pay
Uh,
that electric bill, bills, gotta pay them bills. Tell me, how do we pay them bills without getting caught?
yeah, that's, I don't know if it's overlooked, but it really is like something to pay attention to. If, even when you're just growing your own weed for yourself, if you don't do things right, you end up paying, $100 extra a month, but then you're not, like up here, you go to a dispensary and for $100, you can get enough weed to smoke for a month. So it's like if I don't, the hardest part for sure is starting. I think a lot of people have to like start in stages, where they go with like, a 4x4 area, and then they get their harvest out, and then they can reinvest into the 4x8 area or whatever it is. Um, but for sure, if somebody has just a few 4x8 areas, they could be looking at $1,000 bill every single month,
Ooh, yeah.
just electricity. So,
Yeah. Well, especially back in the day when you were using the HPSs and the fucking big old lights and shit,
oh
you
yeah,
know?
dude. Yeah, those were
So
the HPSs not only pulled more power, they were warmer because reflectors, they didn't reflect 100%, and when the light turns into heat. So LEDs LEDs are not like it used to be very expensive. And so it's just like that's hard. That's a hard thing. When you talk about having to do that for 3 or 4 months, pay those before you get a harvest out. Um, that was a definitely is a struggle, I think, for a lot of garden, especially if you have like a bad run or you get some mites or something, like completely restarting. Like it's a dagger. It's hard.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, food,
Um,
water, all of it.
yeah. I mean, like I said, when you have a grow house, I mean, and especially in Florida, you have to make sure you have a swimming pool.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure the home has air conditioning, but you also have to put an air conditioner in the window because it gets hot in that fucking house, and you're running that shit constantly. So, yeah, the electric bill goes.
Yeah, it's live. Especially,
Oh
dude,
yeah,
like you said, back in the day, air cooled was even, a newer technology. There were like before air cools, there was hanging bulbs. There was no pulling the heat out here or there, It was just hanging bulbs. But I've seen some pretty
hmm.
awesome grows with just hanging bulbs though.
So, all right, I kind of know how to get patients and customers. Like you go to a bar and you fucking put a bunch of little dime bags with Mr. Happy symbol on there, and you hand them out to everybody and say
Yeah.
with a number on there. That's how guerrilla marketing at its finest. So, I mean, give everybody a little dime bag sample or a nickel bag sample. They'll be calling you like that. But you have a different way to tell everybody how to do it. Go ahead, tell us.
Oh no, hey, I think that's great. I think everybody's a little different. I think that way is definitely fucking works, especially if you have had great weed back, especially back in the day. Um, for patients now, when you're a caregiver, finding patients can really be difficult. First off, you have to find somebody who's willing to like go get their card, who is able to or willing to, and then you have to find somebody who's going to be buying like regularly. So you
Yep.
only get so many patients typically when you're a caregiver. Now, if you're on the other side of that, we're not worried about any of that. Um, Even then, the word of mouth, especially today, like there's dispensaries right down the road in a lot of places. So word of mouth, like, oh, my buddy's got the fire. Yeah, well, I can go get that at a dispensary. Maybe not as good as like 99% of homegrown, but a lot,
99.5.
yeah,
We'll give them 99.5%.
dude. But
we'll give them
a lot of people
we'll
don't
give them that
care.
point
A
5.
lot of people don't care
Right.
about that. They just they want a THC number. I think a lot of people see the dispensary weed as being like cleaner, even though I completely disagree with it. But it is tested, so that is something. But cleaner, I just look up what they do to the cannabis to clean it. Like a radiation machine is they like nuke it, and I don't know if I think there are states that don't allow that or make people like put that on a package like, "Hey, this was irradiated." But, it's nasty, and just because you're killing like 99% or 99.9% of any living bacterias or funguses or anything that's on that cannabis right then and there, like, there's just I see much cleaner, much better burning, much easier on the lungs and the throat weed coming from home grows that far better than I've ever smoked from dispensaries. So that in itself tells you something,
Alright, here's what I'm gonna say a little bit about that, because I work with a lot of dispensaries. Here's what I'll say. It's not their fault.
for sure.
It's not the cultivation's I'd say about 75% of the cultivation, it's not their fault. It's not your fault. What's that movie from Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
Hey, Will, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Stop fucking with me. Not you. It's not your fault. Stop fucking. No, don't fuck.
That's a
It's not your
fantastic
fault.
movie, though. If you haven't seen Good
It's
Will
a fucking
Hunting,
amazing. I've watched it so many fucking times. That's why I know that scene so well. It's not your fault. But here's why it's not their fault. Okay, they put their heart. A lot of cultivators put their heart and soul in their flower. It's the state's laws that fuck up your flower.
yeah,
You put your heart and soul in those genetics. You spend good money on those genetics. You put millions of dollars into your grows. I don't blame you. It's not your fault. It's the state's fault. And here's what. Okay. The laws that they instill into you when it comes to growing and what you can and cannot do. When you come to harvest time, what you can and cannot do. When it comes to curing time, what you can and cannot do. And then by the time you get your shit back from being tested, and then you get to fucking put it in jars or plastic bottles or Mylar bags or whatever you use. Hopefully you're using Grove bags out there because that keeps that shit nice and freshy. By the time you get it packaged, sealed, COA'd again, some states make you do it two time. It by the time it gets to the dispensary, it could be fucking 3-4 months old, 5 months old. And I'm not, and a lot of you, your state laws don't let you package it with humidifier bags in there. Some states do. You should. And I'm not talking about there's other things going on too with ozone and remediation and x-rays and stuff because the pathogens and the fucking microbes and they try to kill everything because sometimes that shit's on the shelf for fucking 6-7 months in a dry fucking inventory room. It's not your fault. I believe in you cultivators and I believe in you dispensaries. I deal with you all the time and I love you all. You're trying to make a living. But the state laws really fuck you and what you can and cannot do. Now there's people that cut corners and all that fucking shit. Fuck them. But I'm telling you, it's not your fault. That's why homegrown and underground grow is so good because it's so fresh. The day I harvest it, the day I cut it, the day I'm smoking weed in fucking now with the Grove bags. I'm smoking weed in fucking 2 weeks.
yeah.
That shit is so fucking fresh. You can't compete. You'll never be able to compete. I'm sorry. I love you all. You help me make my living. But you can't compete with underground. You'll never be able to stop it. I'm sorry. It's too good. The breeders out there that are doing it and have been doing it underground for 20, 30, 40 years, they're too good. It's not your fault. You're behind the 8 ball all the time because of state regulations and taxes and what you can and cannot do. And I'm on my soapbox. I'm sorry. I don't speak much during Big Earl's time and I get to listen and learn. But when I get a chance to fucking throw a fucking punch, I'm going to throw it. And I tell you what, you will get better. You have to, especially if you want to compete. Because the underground will never go away. We'll always survive and we'll win. We love you. And one more time, it's not your fault. I'm being a dick. I'm sorry.
No.
But I love you all.
I mean, and the regulations is definitely a thing. They're crazy. There's the regulations that some of these places have on cannabis compared to like food, for instance, and I know there are some things that like definitely need to be regulated that can like break down when lit on fire into certain gases and all kinds of crazy shit. But like it is that shouldn't be a thing. For it to wait, 4 months before the consumer like can get it. It sucks for the grower and for the consumer.
Yeah, it does. And the dispensaries, because they put their heart in it. They put a lot of money to fucking open up a dispensary and staff people and fucking inventory. You got fucking $500,000 sometimes in inventory in some of these stores. Maybe some stores are big enough to where they do $1 million.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money out there and a lot of people's lives. And like I said, I love y'all. It's just you're stuck behind the 8 ball. I can get fucking fresh weed, so fresh, besides my own home grow from homies that are growing constantly at their houses in their fucking tents, and it's fucking in a fucking cycle. And it is so fresh, so stinky, so good. I'm smoking Super Boo for my good homie here, Big Earl. And I've had this bud for a little bit now too, and it's still fucking great. Okay? It's a different animal. And for all you homies out there that home grow, traditional market grow, underground, I love you. I love your weed. I smoke a fucking 90% of what I smoke on this show is home grow, underground grow, caregiver grow, or traditional market grow. Listen to all my shows. Listen to the shows I do with Earl here. It's all, I mean, I tell you about my 5 favorite growers, but I've smoked plenty of other people's home grow, plenty of other caregivers grow. And I love you all. So on the Chronicles, we've been running through some uh, underground traditional market home grows between Michigan and Illinois this last like 5 or 6 episodes. And I tell you what, motherfuckers, man, that shit is fucking fire.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just too good. You guys fuck the terps. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's terps you see on the dispensary grows. You see plenty of trichomes and good shit and crystally stuff. There's a lot of good. There's good. I've smoked some good dispensary stuff. West Coast, of course, but I'm just talking about the freshness and the smell and the. I mean, just you just can't compete. I'm sorry. You can fucking call me out all you want. I don't care. But
I think
I
most of
mean,
them
smoke
know.
some a bigger. If you hung out with me and you know who I am and you've seen me at events rolling joints for people, a lot of times it's coming from the homies, you know, that give you a choice to smell, fucking bigger. You've all smoked a lot of Big Earl's weed if you've hung around me. you know? So, um, what else, Earl? The stigma? Are we on the stigma right now?
Nope.
Then versus now?
Well,
Or we still talking about patience? How do we get patience in customers? I
there's
think
I
I've
think
said enough about.
I think there's one for me, all the one of the coolest grow techniques that I never used was an attic grow because I think it like conquers almost everything. Uh, but it does have some negatives. So an attic grow, I've heard a ton of stories about, especially when the air cooled lights came through. Um, it's like upstairs, visitors like come, it's up there already. Heat rises, so like smell can rise with that. Uh, you can vent out the side and heat rises, so you don't have to worry about smell getting to the neighbors as much. And like it just conquered a lot of problems that a lot of people had just to being able to like go up, you know. Um, there were negatives. There's negatives to the attic grow. The heat for sure. It gets hot as hell. Um, and like people used to get caught back in the day. I don't know if you've ever heard of when the snow would melt on the roofs. You look at like an apartment complex or like a row of houses, and all the houses would have like
Yep.
a foot of snow or 6 inches of whatever snow on their roof. And then one would have like the peak all it's just like, oh shit. You know exactly what was going on there. Um,
That's funny.
yeah, dude. But
That's funny as
that
fuck.
attic grow is a loss. Is a lost growth. I call it a technique because so we've talked about the skunk a ton. And at least like we did for you were always looking for that like original skunk. And some
Yeah.
people say that the original skunk isn't necessarily gone. We just don't grow that way anymore. The skunk, this is what I've been told, to get that real skunky, nasty to come out, it has to be super high humidity and a warmer, a warmer grow. And so we've gone like to LED, and a lot of that attic grow is kind of like gone, or a lot of those kind of like warmer grows in general. A lot of the
What do you think the temperature was or the humidity was when they were growing that skunkity
dude,
skunk?
I guarantee you, a lot of those rooms were getting into the hundreds. Maybe not like
Wow.
like because these like so air cooled hoods helped a lot, but it was still warm as hell. So I would
Yeah.
guarantee that, maybe not quite that warm for too long, but even my room, I've had rooms where I've been like, "Oh shit, it's, 90 degrees." Um, Depending on how it's the heat under the light, that's gonna destroy you. If the room's 100 and the heat under the light's getting you, you're gonna fuck some shit up. But if the heat under the light's just 100, that shouldn't kill things at least.
Yeah,
Um,
and here's the thing though. I mean, the cannabis plant is the sativa style cannabis plant, not the indica that grew in the Himalaya mountains, a little bit colder. Used to that 70s, and that tall, lanky landrace strains aren't they used to high heat, growing in Mexico? Some fucking summertimes getting in the fucking high 90s, hundreds and shit. I
yeah,
know
on the
it's natural
equator.
sun. They probably had. Yeah, I mean, I know it's different than fucking heat in your attic and lights and shit like that, but some of those plants like that kind of. I'm just asking. Don't. I might be totally fucking stupid on this, but don't some plants, some strain breeds, kind of like fucking like you said, the skunk. They were like they want that high humidity. They want that high fucking heat. High 80s, low 90s and shit. Constantly being at that like 70% humidity. Mark 80% humidity.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something like certain styles of plants like grow better in? I don't. I'm just asking because I don't know.
No, I think for sure. I mean, tons it makes sense because so many plants evolved so many different areas. And if you're from like a cold mountain, it's going to be different if you evolve than on the equator. And so, yeah, traditionally, a lot of that equatorial, like, down where it's warmer, weed is going to be that sativa, long reaching, um, probably why it's not so dense so that it doesn't get all trapped in there and so that it does, it can air out a little bit. Um, but yeah, it is. I think it is definitely a little different in the attic. I think the big thing is under the lights. If your room's 100 degrees and you have HPS lights, and under the lights is going to be like very, very warm. And if you don't have that air
Gotcha.
moving a ton, and like you're probably going to burn some shit. Where like if you're, it's something like used to be growing outside and maybe wouldn't burn under even like similar temperatures. Um,
Right.
but yeah, that attic grow is probably I don't know. I'm sure they're
A lost
around.
art, a
Yeah,
lost art,
they
a lost art. I'm sure there's still some
yeah.
around.
But I think that's where the skunk's at. I think that we have to go to those warmer rooms. Not that like basement rooms or any garden can get warm, but um, I think that's where some of those terps are hiding for sure. And
If you're hiding out there, come
come
find us.
find
We
us.
wanna smoke some.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like
Or send Earl some clones so he can grow some in his attic.
when yeah, I'll open that bad boy up. It's hot as hell up there. Um, yeah, dude, it would be fun to do those types of experiments and figure that out. But I think with the legalization too, and all the testing and how rigorous it is, it leads a lot of people to that opposite because the more moisture is also like the more bacteria and fungus that can build and stuff like that. And so a lot of people when they have to get it tested dry faster than they otherwise would or should. Um, and it's because they have to get that countdown. Um, Not that
Mhm.
that's good or bad, too much is definitely bad, but, like, what's too much and, like, where's that line? I don't know. But
Gotcha.
I think a lot of that type of stuff really, like, evolved our strains that we see. I think, we've I don't know if we've talked about it too much, but, like, those grows were going people talk about, like, losing perps and losing this, and that was this strain, that was that strain, and it all evolves and changes with, like, fads and new technologies, and more recently, like, dabs and different things, like, a lot of that old funk is gone, or at least not around very much because people love the fruity dabs. Um,
Fruit. Yeah, they want that sweetness just like
yeah.
crazy.
So, and since that's so popular and there's I think there's a way bigger hunt for dab flower than flower. And so it's like literally changed how the plant is evolving with us. We're losing a lot of that. Like when you're growing for extraction, you don't care how the plant grows. You don't care how the buds look. You don't care what color it is. You don't care really about much other than what's it
The
gonna
big
yield?
fat
Yeah,
heads. Yeah, you want big, fat, juicy, resiny fucking you don't care if you get it if it's ugly, who cares? It's the resin and the fucking sappiness that you want to be able to wash that shit to get the fucking golden fucking hue of goodness to smoke out of your dab.
yeah, exactly. And so it's like just like that, when people had more attic grows going or there was more of that warmer technology, those strains that did better in that those terps came out of better in that yielded better, that didn't burn as fast, that didn't get the PM because of the high humidity, stuff like that, those were the plants that we evolved with. And then when that started changing, it changes different spectrum lights, it changes to different techniques, to different, we've gone through so many different levels uh, of a cannabis community. Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
it is. Dabs are definitely taken away from, and I know there's a ton of dabbers out there, but they're taken away from like flower potential. We're not looking for the flower as much anymore.
Well, I know a lot of people that love their dabs, but there's still a lot of fucking traditionalists that still love the beautiful colas you in the beautiful plant from the time it pops out and one I mean, a lot of the home growers I know, they don't grow for dabs, they grow for beautiful flower.
Mhm.
Michigan might be different than Illinois, but, I know a lot of people that do like their dabs and they grow for their dabs, but just the people that I talk with and who I get my stuff from
Yeah.
and who get uh, they're growing for flower.
I think maybe it's
They're growing f
seen more in the breeding realm where so GMO had that like was like real funky and all that, but it also was a heavy washer. And so that's why, yeah, it was like gnarly and funky and dirty diapery and everything you cross.
smells like baby poop.
Dude, it's so funky, but it also washed heavy. And so that's why I think that was, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that's funky. But yeah, I it's interesting when you go through like those timelines of things, you can kind of see like, oh, this is a popular strain. Well, this is a popular strain because of this.
Right.
Like Blue Dream, well, I guess it doesn't really correlate with much different technology, but Blue Dream was popular because it yielded out and you couldn't hurt it. Same with GG4, pretty good yielder, and you could grow it in the back of a toilet. And like,
2 amazing strains right there that you just mentioned, Blue Dream and GG4, 2 of my fucking you put them up there in High Haven because they would smoke sticky, just everything about those when I first had those years ago, and still some of my favorites today. I don't see Blue Dream that much anymore,
yeah,
like, like, around. I wish someone would grow some good Blue Dream. I think it just got a little tired, people because it was so popular for so long, but GG4 ain't going away.
yeah,
Gorilla
GG4 is
Glue
here.
number 4.
Yeah,
Whoo! My homie, you know the homie, Igneous, you
yeah.
know him. He
Oh yeah,
gave you that cut to hold for him, yeah.
yeah,
You're a GG4. Oh my god, fucking remember when you grew it though? I'm like, "Please don't ever stop growing this." And then
yeah.
the same thing with Igneous too. "Please don't ever stop growing this. It's just too good." It's just the all around what I what I love about a flower. It's not too fruity. It's got a little dank to it. The smoke is unbelievable. The bud structure, the look. I mean, I've seen different but I mean, the high is like perfection.
Right.
Like for midday high, like not sleepiness, but you could go to sleep on it. You could smoke it in the morning. And it's definitely an afternoon, evening fucking strain, which is just it's perfect for that time. Just so good.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just it's a good fucking strain. I know people fucking are probably like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm telling you, if you get really good GG4, it'll be one of your staples,
GG
hands down.
one thing that's crazy with GG4 is supposed to be a clone only. And I see so many people who will be like, "Oh, the GG4," and I ask them about it, and they're, "Oh, no, I hunted this from seed," or something like that, and it's like, "Well, wait a minute." And so, like, technically, if you have the actual GG4 and it's not an S1 or a cross or something, it's like the Gorilla Glue number 4 selection. That's what
Mhm.
it was. And there's other ones out there. There's the GG5 and shit like that. That's a different hunt. I don't even know if that's the same person that found it, but different hunt, different turfs, different everything. Um, but yeah, the GG4 is like like become a name in its
So
own.
good.
Yeah, where people
So
will,
it's so
you
good.
know,
And it's been crossed so many times now too,
yeah,
but it's such a oh my gosh, so good. There's so many others, but that one, when you mentioned those 2, Blue Dream and fucking,
yeah.
GG4, it's uncomparable.
Yeah,
I
Blue
mean
Dream smashes the yield, and GG4 just basically doesn't stop growing. So you do wanna watch out for its stretch. It'll stretch for effing ever, but it yields pretty like, it's stretchy and it's like, climby a little bit, but, like, that GG4 is fire, for sure.
Nice. Yep. Alright. We're all about stopping the
Oh,
stigma.
yeah,
So then versus now, though, the stigma. And this is a big thing for the Weedman 420 Chronicles. Mrs. Weedman, this is her. She's always talking about stopping the stigma since we started the brand too. It's one of our 4 pillars. Stopping the stigma. Education, freeing the plant, and helping free the 40,000 prisoners that are still locked up for nonviolent cannabis crimes. So, but stopping the stigma is one of our pillars.
yeah,
Breaking it, stopping it, kicking it, beating it, and just still we're still to this day we're how many years into this now, being in prohibition, almost 88 years going into 89 or 87 years, almost at 87 years. And the stigma is still there in some areas.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
terrible. So tell us a little bit then versus now, my buddy. Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I think people just especially back in the day, had to deal with that stigma so hard. It was like you
Mhm.
it's if you're newer to cannabis or, weren't around it in the '90s or early 2000s, because like, I wasn't around it in the '90s, but I was around a lot of people who were around it back then, and it was just like you couldn't smell like it, you couldn't talk about it, there was nowhere to go, like, there were, like, forums and stuff, but, like, beyond that, there was no, getting on podcasts and listening to somebody talk about, like, how to do this or that.
Nope.
There was you didn't even know what like, you didn't even know super basic normal things about it unless you really, really dug and, like, really had a passion for it. Um, and I think I think definitely a lot of the laws and how those big, uh, bigger gardens have to operate have to do with a lot of their end game. But I think a lot of it too is like these guys that are doing it and they have a risk, like they're doing it for a passion. And so when you talk about somebody like having a true passion of loving something versus somebody like getting paid money for a paycheck and going to a job, I think you'll find like that passion's going to really shine into those little 1%, Um and but that's what we owe everything to. Like we said at the beginning, it's a lot of that passion is lost. A lot of it turns just to dollars, and hopefully hope I think a lot of that passion's still there. I think hopefully, the industry can go that way and stay in that. Um, but yeah, I think we need to
Yeah.
yeah, I think we need to give it up for the old school guys that got everybody here.
I
Don't
I
forget
agree
them.
100%. Don't forget the fucking G's.
Yeah,
The ocean Don't forget the ocean groans out
yeah,
there. I mean, from the '70s all the way, you know, the guys that brought back seeds to start growing up in Northern California and shit, those guys, don't
yeah,
forget them. Don't forget the basement grower, the attic grower,
yeah.
the hustler on the streets pushing that for you, the ones that took the risk by delivering it or selling it in their cars or, moving weight, and you wanted your weed all these years. You got it.
There you go.
Somehow, some way, there was somebody there with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that's really what it's like,
Yeah,
like, I think a
I'm
lot of it
telling you.
is a lot of those people are overlooked. A lot if you had, most of the states, if you had drug-related felonies, you couldn't be part of it, and it's like, well, shit, if you're out here progressing the hardest and hitting it the hardest and making the biggest difference, like, you're probably gonna have the biggest percent of you having some kind of drug felony, and you're just automatically out of it. And then the other 99% can't do it because of money. It takes that very
Yep.
rare, like grower that has that money, that has that passion, that keeps it, or a grower finding the right money, the right donor. Um, I don't know. I think we're gonna go
Yeah.
in a better way. I hope so. I think uh I think taxes will normalize. I think we're gonna go.
Right.
And like you said, the underground will always be there anyway to help all of them,
We'll
pick
always
them
be here
all up.
for you. We'll always be here for you.
But yeah,
When all else fails, just look for the Weedman logo in the sky or the Big Earl logo in the sky. You'll find us. I mean, I always got weed on me.
yeah, give you a little.
I always got weed on me. I always said, if you need a nug, I got you. If you need a joint, I got you.
Hey,
So, final thoughts? Anything, Big Earl, before we go, brother?
go. Just in the light of today, go find some of these homies. Before you go to the dispo next time, go look around online, look around on Reddit or something. Try to find some of these people local. Try to support some of them if you
Yeah.
can. Promise you'll have
Yep.
some fantastic flower,
Go
and
go to the underground trade shows.
it's not as
Go some of
flashy.
those.
Usually, you won't get 5,000, different this and that, but you know you're gonna like what you get.
Yep. Yep. Well,
So yeah,
we love you out there, everybody. Big Earl has been great. Everybody
yeah.
out there, we love you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Peace. Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a ninth decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.